All right, good morning, everybody. Time for another episode. So, we got a couple things going on here today. Let me turn my heater on. Whew, cold out here. I've got another video I'm filming on the Suburban. I'm kind of stuck because I'm waiting on parts, and you know how it is getting parts in the mail around Christmas time. So, it's going to be a few days on that, but they're going to get here. So, we're going to get back on the wagon. But what I'm trying to do, I'm not jumping off the wagon onto this. I just want this thing running, driving, and reliable, so I can use it for an actual truck if I want to. So got a few things going on. I'll have that video out soon after this one, so you'll be able to take a look at that. So anyway, let's take a look at what's going on with this thing.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
Okay. So where we left off was we were out of rear end parts. Well, they are here now. So we're going to try to finish up getting the rear end in there. I did finish up the fuel system. I got my other little piece of fuel line on here. I pumped all the gas out of the Suburban because I want to drop the tank and look at some things. So I dumped about 12 gallons of gas in this thing and no leaks. Everything looks good, so I'm happy with that. So we are going to... I got to change those axle seals. We got to change these wheel bearings, which I am going to try to do without a press. I've kind of got some ideas of how to do it. Been searching online on how to do that. The right shocks are here. I've got all the brake parts, and I've got, yeah, that's it. So we're going to try to get all that done on this video and get this thing sitting back on all 4 feet. And then the next thing we'll be addressing is cooling system. We're going to come up here, we're going to swap water pumps, get the right water pump on it, get the radiator in, get the fan in, get the hoses on, yada yada. And then we'll see. Well, I need to get the gas pedal hooked up. Then I want to see that this thing is going to crank and run on its own. So that's where we're going. Updated the price board. Added another $400 worth of miscellaneous. We were at $77.45. So we'll see where we end up. I know I still got a windshield seal to buy. That's a couple $100. Or like $160. I've got one back window and both seals to get. We got to put an exhaust on it. I'm gonna need a programmer for the computer. I need carpet and a seat. So there's still some money coming. But anyway, enough talking. Let's see about, I need to try to make a puller to get these seals out or go borrow one. So let me take a look at this and see what we got. Okay, so will this work or will this not work? Let's find out. I just took a little piece of flat steel, drilled a hole in it, welded a nut on the back, put a long bolt on it, and I made this side a little bit longer so I could slip it in behind that seal like that. And I'll put the vice grips on it like this, and let's see what happens. There you go. One homemade seal puller. Cost nothing. It's pretty clean in there. All right. Let me get that seal in there, and then we will take a look at how we're gonna get the bearing out of here, or change that bearing on that axle. And of course the seal does not fit. It's the center fits, it's too loose around the outside, and it is just a tiny bit smaller. Of course it is. Now, does O'Reilly's or AutoZone or who else is around, Advance, have it? You know, let's look it up and see. If not, it looks like we're stuck again. I mean, I guess we can. I can't do the brakes because, well, yeah, I could put the. We could put the backing plates back on. We could put the brakes on. We could put the shocks on. But I can't put the axles in until I get these. All right, let me do a little research. Okay, so got a hold of O'Reilly's, and they actually show the part. They can get it here the quickest. They can get it here Monday. So today's Saturday. We're gonna go with that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and change these axle bearings. Let's go ahead and put the shocks on. Let's run the brake lines. Let's get the backing plates on. Let's get all the brake parts on. We can do all of that and have it ready for when the new seals get here. It's so aggravating. This is like the second time. First it's the shocks and then it's this. Now I hope these bearings they sent me fit. So either way, these got to come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutoff wheel and we're going to cut this retainer. And we're going to cut this bearing, hopefully without cutting this plate. Take a chisel and split these off here. That's the plan anyway. So let me cut this and then we'll take a look. All right, so first thing I did was just cut this bearing housing in half on each side. Took it off, took the bearings out. Now you've got this little retainer here, and then you got the bearing race, and we need to cut those off without cutting the axle. So probably gonna have to take a angled cut at it and then hit it with a chisel. I'm not gonna run the camera while the grinder's running. That noise is annoying. So let's cut a notch in this and then we'll come back and take a look. Somebody help me understand why these people can't get this thing right. There's that bearing. Not even close. I know there's a big bearing and a small bearing Ford 9-inch. This must be the small bearing. But everything Rock Auto has listed for this 59 wagon is wrong. Shocks were wrong. Bearings were wrong. Seals were wrong. I don't get it. But, okay. We'll just send them back and find the right one somewhere. Anyway, I've got this cut. We can still go on and do what we were going to do today. Let's see if we can get this off of here. I'm not blaming it on Rock Auto. Well, maybe I am. It's listed in their catalog under this car with no choice of options. Just says it's this bearing. Well, it's not. And now you've disrupted my rhythm. There we go. There's the ring. Now let's see if we can get this. I have to cut it a little deeper. Yeah, not quite deep enough. We got the retainer though. All right, let me grind this and then we'll take another look. I'm trying not to cut this plate. All right, let's try it again. go. Put a little nick on it, but that's all right. Okay. So I might as well get both of these off and get them ready for new bearings and seals when they get here and when I can find them. And of course, this is all original Ford stuff, so I don't see the part numbers on it. And I'm going to go ahead and get the other one apart, and then we'll look and start putting some stuff back together on this thing. All right, something I ordered actually fits. Well, the second time I ordered it. So we got the shocks on. I'm gonna go ahead and put all the brakes on these backing plates and just put them on here and put a couple of nuts in them. I can't completely bolt the backing plate on because the axle flange has to bolt on top of that. But I can get it all together and get it on there, and I can go ahead and get my brake lines run. So I put like 12 gallons of gas in this thing. And there is just a dribble in that filter. And I mean, that's just gravity that should be in there. So, and I mean, it's at the lowest point on the tank, so I might have to pull that hose off, and surely there's nothing clogging that up. I just screwed a little brass fitting on there. But we need to check into that. So I need to do that, make some brake lines, and let me check this out. Those of you that hung around for my fuel sending unit build, I am showing fuel. So it is working, which is a good deal. And I can hear that pump come on and cycle when I turn that key on, so that's good. All right, let me, what are we doing here? Let me go ahead and put these backing plates together with the stuff on them. We'll get them on there, and we'll run some brake lines. Back in a few. All right, so since I was missing all the brake hardware, I had to buy all this stuff. The little pins, spray, and it's all separate. You get the wheel cylinders, you don't get the pins, so you had to buy the pins. You had to buy the self adjusters, had to buy a spring kit, and had to buy the shoes. I mean, it's expensive to do it that way, but you know, there was nothing back there to clean up and reuse. So I do not have any emergency brake hardware, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to wait until I can come across a parts car and get the pieces in here for the emergency brake hardware. And when I find that, then I'll get cables and we'll string a new cable for it. But it's an automatic, so I'm not too worried about it right now. All right, let's put this guy together. Let's put both of these together, stick them on the car, and see what we got. That was a battle. Man, them new springs did not want to stretch. But we got her all together now. one thing that I left out of this kit is this spring that holds the bottom of the shoes against the self-adjuster. They sent me 2 different short springs, I guess for different applications, but they did not send me those. And they sent me emergency brake springs. So I had a tub of junk brake parts over there. I was able to find 2 good springs in there that actually came off my truck project. And one of the 2 rear ends I had for it, I can't believe they fit a 91 Chevy or 92 GMC brake spring fit a 59 Ford, but it fits. So, and these are not self-adjusting. These are manually adjusted brakes on the 59. So you got to take your little tool and get in this slot back here and adjust your brake drag every once in a while. And they give you a couple little plugs to put in there so junk don't get in there. But okay, we got these together. Let's throw these on the axle, and then we'll pipe some brake lines and take a look. Okay, so we got both brake assemblies on there, and I wish I had those bearings and seals, but I did check with O'Reilly's, and they also have the bearings, and I mic'd the bearing and compared it to what they've got, and they've got the right bearings. So I guess we're going to order those too. All right, so what I need to do now is run this rear brake line. I'll show you what I got. I have got, here's the old one. So this hose, which is garbage, I got the new hose for it, and it actually looks like the right hose. Believe it or not, I got a good part. I hate to pick on Rock Auto, but gosh dang, guys, you keep doing it to me. So we need to take this little junction block off here, clean it up, get these threaded fittings out of there. I think that's a brass junction block. Yeah, it is. So that should clean up pretty good. And then I have got the stuff that will just make new brake lines for this. And then I'm about to make me a short brake line to run from here to the to where I ended the brake line on the frame, and I should have some 3/16 unions or couplings or whatever you call them in there. I got a bunch of little brake stuff. So let's let me go ahead and get all this apart. We'll clean this guy up. We'll put it back on the frame with this, and then we'll see what we got. I'll dig around. We'll start making this and find the other parts we need. All right, we got the brake hose on. Goes up to the little bracket right there. So I need to make a line to go from there up to the other line on the frame, and then make these 2 lines on the side. So I've got 3 lines to make here. So let me let's get them set up, and we'll make them dudes. All right, so this is a pretty good kit I got from Amazon. And they got a number on it or something. Made in China, of course. There's a number. But you get, I think it's 25 foot of brake line. And you get all these fittings. And I think it was 15 bucks. I mean, shoot, you can't hardly beat that. You go buy some of these fittings packaged like this at the, you know, the big box auto parts stores. You know, that's probably $5 right there. So, and then I'd save all my little fittings and clamps and stuff. So. All right, so I've got these 2 lines to make. I got that one, and I got that one down there. Those are for the wheels, and I need to make one to go, that third one to go from the frame up to the, whatchamacallit, up to the flex hose, and then I got some. We got some clamps we'll clamp it on the frame with. All right, let me go ahead and bend these, and I'm sure everybody knows how to use a double flare thing. Do you need to see it? Yeah, we'll do a double flare here. Let me cut this piece, and then we'll take a look. All right, one thing I like about this Amazon brake line, or you probably get it anywhere, It's some kind of copper alloy, and you can really bend around on this stuff without it kinking. So I just pretty much matched up what I got there. Left me a little bit extra on the ends, and you got to leave your room enough to put your flare nut on there before you do it. If you got like a tight bend at the end, because you got to be able to get this and your flare nut in there. So let's see what I got here. All right. So you put your nut on there first, and then we're going to open this guy up. And this is 3/16 line, and we're going to poke up about what is that? Maybe between a 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch. Just poke up through the tool. Croissant wrench. Got one here somewhere. Over here. Okay. Crank this guy down. There are some really slick pliers out there that you can buy to do double flares, but I've used this thing forever and it works, so I'm fine with it. Make sure you get the right size. Your little double flare doohickey goes in there. Yeah. This guy goes in there. Good news too, I just got a phone notification that my Suburban parts are going to be here today. And a couple more of these parts are going to be here today. Now, none of them are going to be right, of course, but they're going to be here. So, all right. So we're going to tighten this down and flatten that flare out. And this is step one. And we just back this off a little bit. We pull this guy out. And if you can see, right there, it just kind of mushed that down into a bubble flare. Now, we take this flaring tool back without the little, whatever they call that thing, and we crank it down again. You don't want to mash it into oblivion. Take that off. Undo these guys. Take that off. Now you can see we got a nice flare for a flare nut. And now we can make this last bend. See, I wouldn't be able to do that okay, and now you can see these pretty well match up. Okay, so I got to do the other end of that, and then I got 2 more of these lines to make. So let me do that. Let's get these on there and we'll take another look. Okay, so we got all our brake lines run. I just wire brushed this rear end while I was down there and went ahead and took that rust inhibitor and just sprayed it, you know, just kind of slow down that surface rust. Not trying to make it pretty or anything. But all my lines are run, everything got clamps on them, it's in good shape. I kind of figured I probably ought to take the fill plug out while I was down here, and that was a booger. Had to weld a bolt into it. It was so rusted and stripped on the inside. It was like a 3/8 drive plug, and I could not get it, so we just welded that on there, and that and the heat, it came right out. So what I want to do now is find out why I'm not getting gas out of there. Yeah, that's weird. Let me get a drain pan. We'll set the camera up under here and pull that hose off and just see what's going on. Okay. I mean, surely this plug down here is a tap to get fuel out of. I can't imagine why else it would be there. There's plenty of fuel in this thing. Oh, yep, there's plenty of fuel there. Maybe we just got to run the fuel pump a little bit to get it to why isn't it's pouring out of here, and there's none in this filter. That filter should be full. What is going on? Oops. Unless it's just kind of airlocked. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I just need to get the injectors to cycle a few times, or hotwire the pump and get the pump to run. Maybe take the return off the front. Yeah, take the return off the front, crank it, get the injectors to fire a few times, and when I get fuel up there, then I can hook it back up and get it back here. But okay, I think it's just that line is full of air and it's stopping at the injectors. Okay. Well, let's go up here. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, that we, let's see, where is could I have the supply and the return wrong? So here's this fuel rail, and it runs to this hose, and that's to this, and that's supply. I would just take supply off of here and crank it and see if I get fuel. Yeah, you know what? I might have these rolling. No, that's right. So this is coming from if I'm right, the fuel pressure regulator is on the return side. We go through the fuel rail, and then the regulator, which is here, to then come back through here, there, to the return. And that should be supplied. Let's see what happens if I just turn the key on. Let's see here. This is fuel pump relay, should be your middle one. Yeah. And your should be from 30 to 87. Yeah. There's 30. That's that one. To 87 should be that one. You'll be sure. Hear the pump come on for just like a second or two. And I thought that's what it's supposed to do, and then it comes on crank. I hear it gurgling. Been up here by now. Could that pump be running backwards? It sounds like it's blowing bubbles into the tank. Or could I have the pump in there backwards? All right, let me check that back in a minute. That pump is not marked in or out, but I think I've got it backwards. I think I've got it blowing into the tank instead of sucking from the tank, so that was pretty stupid. All right, let me flip it around and see what we got. Okay, so I was right, I had the fuel pump on backwards. So I switched that around on the frame, and of course the wires weren't long enough to turn it the other way, so I had to extend my wiring out. Now that I had it all nice and tied up and in its little loom and everything, I had to take it all apart, so that's all right. So let's see if we can get some fuel here now. I hear it picking up fuel. There we go. All right. Now, let's put this guy on here. Let's, where'd the clamp go? I don't know. Thought it slid down the hose, must have fell down there somewhere. We got plenty of clamps, that's all right. Put a clamp on this thing, and let's see what we got. Oh, I still got all kinds of vacuum hoses unhooked on this thing. No cooling system hooked up. I'm just curious to see if it'll fire. Let's see, put this guy back in there. I love that sound. Okay, so we're running, and all right. So I guess next thing to do is we'll go ahead and work on this cooling system. Let's get the right water pump on it. I gotta make a bracket for this radiator. Oh, there went the clamp that I lost. See if I got some radiator hoses around here. I need to get the heater core hooked up. Plenty to do yet. So anyway, I think we'll end this video here. And I have got a week off between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm gonna be cranking out here and on the Suburban. So I'm probably gonna get a few videos out this week. So this will just be the first of a few. But thanks for coming along. We'll get a word from the Lord, and we'll call it on this one. All right, thanks for coming along today. Got a lot done, but you know, the stuff with the axles, that's irritating. That Advance has the parts. They'll be here Monday. We'll get this thing back down on all 4 feet. But we got a lot done today. We got to hear it run. Fuel system works. So pretty happy with all that. Message, John 3:16, say it with me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him should not perish but have eternal life. Probably the most well-known verse in the Bible, and probably one of the most applicable as we are here on December 21st, I think. 21st, 22nd, 21st. So that is the message we need to be giving out to our friends, our co-workers, our family. You know, we're gonna have a lot of cool get-togethers coming up here in the next week or so. So you're gonna get together and you're gonna be giving presents away and you're gonna be eating food. And make sure you, before you eat, before you open presents, especially with those kids and those grandkids, that you get that Bible out and you read, if not just that verse, read some of the story of the birth of Christ and talk about what it's about. This is Jesus's birthday, first of all, and commercial gift giving, not even second. That should be way down the road. We need to make sure these little ones know what this is about. You know, I don't care what you buy them, all that cool stuff and those toys and those video games and whatever you're going to get, your big people toys, and it is going to be a very short time before all that stuff is off in the corner, forgotten, neglected. Yeah, that's last year's news. You know, that's just how it goes with that gift giving. But the gift that God gave us of eternal life and of his son is forever. And I mean forever, not just forever in this life, forever beyond that. And man, what an awesome time of year. Our pastor calls Easter the Super Bowl, which I think the Christian Super Bowl, which I kind of think Christmas should be kind of the Christian Super Bowl too. You know, this is the biggie. They're both the biggie. So just remember to make sure you plan for that. You know, you're going to spend the whole evening together with your family. Take 5 minutes and make sure that when you give that blessing on your meal, before you open those gifts, that you remind those kids what this is about, and that is the focus. And that is probably the most important message we could have for Christmas right now. So make sure you do that, and I'm going to make sure I do that. And let's have a word of prayer, and we'll catch you on the next one. Father, we thank you for the gift of your son, and we just ask that you would put the gravity of that in our hearts and the joy of that in our hearts today, and just to where we would profess and we would expound on that message, and that we would be driven to share that message, no matter what other things are going on this time of year, to help us to put those aside and focus on you and on the birth of Jesus, and on the gift of your son to the world, and what that means for us, the salvation that is given to us for that. So just help us to be obedient to you in that. And well, I ask your blessing on everybody watching this channel, and I ask that they would have a blessed, happy birthday, Jesus. And we ask this in the name of your precious son, Jesus. Amen. All right, hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. I said I'm going to probably have 3-4 videos coming out this week. We'll get one on the Suburban, probably another one on this. So I'm going to enjoy this week off, and I'll catch you on the next one.